to every season. There's a time for every purpose. A time to be born. A time to die. And a time to truly live. This season is no different. 3 North American whitetail hunters travel the East Coast and Midwest in search of big-bodied, full mature, worthy whitetails that deserve to be taken. Pursuit and fair chase is a fist-bumping, heart-racing, soul-fulfilling adventure.
Oh my God!
That you have to experience for yourself. Coming up this season on Red Rising.
Here we go, season 4, Red Rising.
Here we are 1 year later, Red Rising season 4.
Season 4, Red Rising, highs and lows.
The ups, the downs, the good, the bad.
We had a good year, but every single thing that came good to us, we earned every single inch of it.
There's no better place to get it started than on the eastern shore of Maryland with our good friend, Danny Calloway.
Let's get it. Every year without fail, the first hunt of the year is going to be with Danny Calloway in Maryland.
Lucky Ward's going, and you will not believe how this show's gonna go.
We got to Maryland, we drove all night. We got here at 5 a.m., crashed out. First day of Maryland's deer season.
I just put a new stand up here the other day. I threw the old one down, forgot to get it.
There's a shed. 2 of them.
Holy. And I didn't even see that. Dude, that daggone stand down here never come down. That's a giant. That's probably what you're going to get seasonally. Man, I hope. Man, and we cut this tree down and limbed it up and everything. Never did see those antlers laying.
For weeks and months, Danny had been sending picture after picture after picture of giant bucks. And man, I just knew it was gonna be one of those deals. You roll in there, these bucks are gonna come in, done deal.
Well, I had a camera about 60, 70 yards right on the other side there, getting a couple good bucks on it, but as you can see, it's underwater.
As my luck would have it, it poured rain 2 days ago. Everything's underwater, as far as in the woods. It's a full moon, and the wind is absolutely the worst wind you could possibly have. So that's just par for the course for me. As always, once that velvet starts coming off, these deer completely change their patterns. The week that I got there, these deer completely disappeared. We're heading now to pull the cards on the set we're supposed to hunt this evening. It's been underwater, so we're gonna see how it goes. My mom, before I left last night, brought me a bag of these. I'm curious to see how many people know what these are. They're chinky pins. Danny'd never heard of them. They're like a cousin of the chestnut, and they are addictive. They're like crack, but man, they will turn your stomach upside down. That's always good for a hunt.
Yeah, it's always good to eat before you get in the woods.
checked the cameras today. There's not been a buck in here for 4 days, 4 solid days. And this is still our best bet because the other cameras are even more dead. All I know is this, it feels good to be back in a tree. It's been a long year, a long summer, and there is no place that I would rather be right here, right now. Oh, and by the way, seems to be some corn and Monster Meal spilt out behind me back here. It's legal in Maryland. Love it or hate it, it's legal. And if you ain't doing it, your neighbor's doing it. So there's very little shame in my game.
One of the things that I love about Maryland is the fact that you can supplemental feed all year round. So you can start in January and you can hammer them all the way through December. I don't judge anything or any state or anybody, any hunter. If that's the game, I'm gonna play it. And this is a situation where you're gonna watch, supplemental feeding work. Kudos to them.
Make sure you subscribe and like the page. On top of that, make sure you click the little notification bell. That way you'll be one of the first ones to know when a new video drops.
As always, once that velvet starts coming off, these deer completely change their patterns. The week that I got there, these deer completely disappeared.
We're set up on the edge of a huge swamp. We've hunted here in years past. According to the cameras last week, a lot of these deer were bedding in this standing corn. We have a ton of rain coming in next week, early next week. So we need to get something done pretty quick.
Last year, I wasn't able to go. I had a family emergency. Jason took my spot and ended up killing a reward buck. Last year, Danny worked all year long and he had a deer pegged for Chris to come up and hunt. But lucky me, Chris couldn't go. I got the opportunity, harvested a good deer.
We're gonna come back in here in a couple hours and we're gonna kill. It's game time.
Last year, Jason hunted in Maryland for a mainframe 8-point with a split right brow tine named Ward's buck.
Right there he is, right there. Don't move.
Another one bites the dust, baby.
Dude, look at the character. Look at that extra point coming off the back of his base. The split brow. Dead ringer. You were super, super deep back in this swamp, and Danny's been feeding Monster Meal all year long to these deer, and I mean, it pays off. I mean, when you see the pictures from this deer as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, it's unreal.
Yeah, he was basically a 4-pointer last year with no brows and no threes. And that's what he put on in a year.
Wow. Well, I'm tickled to death, man. I couldn't be happier.
This year, the roles have flipped. It's Chris's turn to go up and see if he can make it happen on the eastern shore of Maryland.
Every year, people ask me, what's your first hunt of the year? And every year I say Maryland, and their first initial reaction is, Maryland, why? Well, this is why. Scott, Danny's buddy Scott came by just a second ago and had these sheds from the last 2 years. 8-point, 15-inch twos, just absolutely giant sheds. That's what's wandering the woods in Maryland. That's why we're here every year. Ain't that right, Danny?
Sometimes I'll let you see a big one, but never pushing too close to it.
Yep.
I got a stand right there on the back side just across the creek, but as you can see, the water level is spilling over the spillway. And there had been 2 really good buck in there. But it's damn near impossible to go in there and pull a card or hunt it because it's over your knees in water.
This is a classic example of what can go wrong, very well may go wrong.
That was pretty cool. I've hunted a lot, and I think it's only like the 2nd or 3rd time I've ever seen a fox come by. They're pretty elusive. See a ton of coyotes, but you don't see very many foxes. The deer movement is at 0, absolutely 0. We came in this morning, we got in here over an hour before daylight, and we have seen nothing. We're coming up with a game plan midday. We are probably gonna move, go to a different farm, hang a new set.
Well, we were struggling to come up with a game plan. I mean, everything was completely dried up.
And it's just funny how things work out. One night we were sitting in the camper and Danny was on the phone with his friend John Earhart. We call him John Third. And John said, I just had a couple of bucks showing up recently on camera on a couple different properties. Tell him to come hunt with me.
We need you to support us, guys. So go over, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and every time we post something, you're gonna get that little bell going off and you're gonna know instantly that you can go over and watch it and catch what's going on.
Well, we were struggling to come up with a game plan. I mean, everything was completely dried up. And it's just funny how things work out. And Danny was on the phone with his friend John Earhart. We call him John Third.
Really? Every evening? Man, that sounds good. All right, I'm gonna let these boys know. All right, I'll call you back. All right, see you. Well, man, I got some good news.
What?
Buddy John just called me up. He said he's got a farm that he hasn't hunted in 2 years. And he went out there and put a camera out a few days ago. And he just went and checked it. I told him we were having a little bit of tough luck. And he said there's been shooter bucks on that stand every evening since he put that camera out, since the first evening.
Is he gonna go hunt it?
That's the good part.
What?
He said you guys are invited to come sit in that stand.
You're lying.
No, sir.
Dude, I don't want to do that. I feel like a jerk.
He insists. And I'm gonna tell you right now, he
Is this John from Illinois Hunting Camp?
Yeah, John Earhart. He said he's got plenty of deer on camera. He wants you guys to come. You're only here a few days. We got all season. He wants you to try them out.
Let me tell you something. If he's saying it's shooters, it's shooters.
It's shooters.
For sure.
He knows big deer.
What are we gonna do? Just hook up with him?
Yeah, we're gonna meet up with him and we'll head down to Winks. We're gonna meet him there and he's gonna get us all set up.
Sweet.
Unless you don't want to go kill a big deer.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Let's go. And John said, I just had a couple of bucks showing up recently on camera on a couple different properties. Tell him to come hunt with me. What's up, stranger?
What's going on?
How you been?
All right, how about you?
Nice hat. I like it.
Thanks.
Danny says you have good news.
Yeah, I got a spot I ain't hunted in a couple of years. I got a couple nice bucks on there.
There you. Danny said you just put a camera up a couple days ago. You already got bucks on it?
Every evening.
Really?
Yep.
They coming in morning, any?
Got a few pictures, but it's mostly all evening.
Is it? You wouldn't mind if I went in there?
No, man, you're more than welcome.
I hate to do that. I hate to go in there and kill one of your deer.
I don't care.
What if I shoot a 2-year-old? I'm not gonna shoot a 2-year-old.
Hey, he'll do it.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Man, I appreciate it.
Hey, look. This man right here tells you he's got a big buck on camera. He's got a big buck on camera.
Hey, I saw his phone last year when we were in Illinois. Big buck, big buck, big buck. He's almost like you, maybe better.
He's probably better than me.
Ain't that good?
He's more consistent.
Is he? We ended up going to this one property. John had actually hunted there that week and passed a good buck. And it's so funny. We were there as we were hanging the set. This guy in a Jeep comes driving through the woods, gets stuck on the log. He's sitting there just burning everything down. You know, it's making all kinds of racket, and I'm thinking, okay, there's no chance we're gonna kill a deer here. Tell them what happened.
There's a Jeep coming through the woods. They probably do it all the time. They didn't know we were here other than if they seen our vehicles. But they got a bunch of old junk cars back here in the woods. I'm sure it's something he does all the time from the looks of what I've seen in the woods. So I don't think it's gonna booger the spot up as long as he don't do it during prime time.
I think he blew his horn 20 times though.
He blew his horn about 20 times. I think he had a short in it or something though, because he weren't even in there and it was blowing. But
So anyway, I was correct. We didn't kill a deer there, didn't see a deer there, and it was time to move to the other spot. John brought me into this swamp where I'm gonna hang a set. He said he already had one hung for us, so I'm getting ready to climb up in that little jewel. It's an oldie but a goodie. I've hunted in worse.
Go ahead, subscribe to our channel,
like it. You're going to get that little notification bell. It's going to go off, let you know when something new hits. Follow, subscribe. Happy hunting this fall. We love everybody. Thank you again.
And John said, I just had a couple of bucks showing up. Time to come hunt with me. We went in, we hung our set, and it's, I mean, you're talking the complete middle of a swamp. We were surrounded by water. I mean, everything you look down and it's nothing but water. Mosquitoes, chiggers, it was brutal.
What do you know? It couldn't happen to anyone else. Chris is so lucky that he goes in, first set, first afternoon, and here comes a giant whitetail in full velvet.
A couple of deer start coming in, and all of a sudden, I see this velvet rack just coming through the bushes. John had actually sent me a picture of a velvet buck, a big 8, and this is the deer that I thought that was when he came in. Well, he comes in and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, a full velvet buck. I've never killed one. Man, this deer was not walking out of my life. Please tell me you got that.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. You talk about a freaking stud. Stud. Holy crap. People say, why in the world do you guys go to Maryland? Right there, brother. That's it.
There's not many times that I've truly been jealous of Chris, but right now is one of those moments that, I mean, I may have killed bigger deer than him, but he has a beautiful giant whitetail in full velvet, and it is perfect.
If you would have asked me yesterday evening if I had any chance at all to kill a buck, any buck, I would have said no.
That's a trophy of a lifetime, and I can honestly say at this point in time, I'm jealous because I would love to have that deer on my wall.
Made the shot, thought I heard him crash, but decided that we were going to wait until the morning because, like I said, there's no blood trail. It's complete water, so we were just going to back out and go back in the next morning and recover him. Hopefully it won't be far and it won't take long, but if you've ever tracked deer in a swamp, it's not easy at all. So I want to find this deer bad, so we're going to spend all day tomorrow, whatever it takes to find it. You boys ready?
Rock and roll.
Well,
Is this it?
see, it's covered, but you can smell its guts. Some.
I think that deer's laying within 175 yards.
Yes! Are you kidding me?
There he is.
He go 80, 90 yards, did he? I told you I heard him crash.
He was laying here last night.
He was dead by the time I got my...
He got that tree.
Right there he is, big white belly. Oh my gosh, look at this, Danny.
He is beautiful, man.
He actually, the exit hole was actually further back, or closer up to the lung. It's actually come out on his lung here. This is why you come to Maryland. Full velvet, early season buck. I've never killed one in full velvet. And I'm telling you, I had a sleepless night. I knew the shot was good. I knew it was good, but I have tracked deer in these swamps before, and it is virtually impossible because the blood just blends in with all the water, and I was worried. Just can't say enough about Danny and Melissa Calloway. It's just a great time every time I come. He's a big buck killer, and this year he was sending me picture after picture after picture of big bucks, and about 4 days before I got here, they just dried up. Everything dried up, all the sets. And we didn't know what we were gonna do. I mean, we were freaking out. And his buddy John called and said, hey, I've got this spot, go sit it. I've known people for 20 years
that wouldn't have done that. Childhood friends that wouldn't have done that. Let me come and hunt one of their spots, and I thank you for that, brother. Could not be happier. I've never killed a full velvet deer. I cannot wait to get this deer home and get him on my wall. Thank you guys so much.
All we got worried about is them horns.
That's why I love Danny. Puts me on deer, drags my deer. Remember 2 years ago I said I had that hernia?
Yeah.
I really didn't, and then I ended up getting a hernia.
Yeah, that's karma, buddy.
I know.
That's big time karma.
Thank you, John Earhart, brother. I owe you big time for this buck. But to have a buck in full velvet, I've always dreamed of having one. Can't ask for any more than that.